Welcome to Peter and Ruffy's Football Show here on STV2. The main talking points on tonight's programme. It's a straight shootout between Hampden and Murrayfield for the National Stadium. Revenge is sweet for Celtic against Hearts. One striker in and one striker out at Hibernian. Yeah, lots to talk about and quite a few deals to be done before the day is out. It's all in the company of Alan Ruff, and our Wednesday pundit, as ever, is former Rangers and Scotland captain Barry Ferguson, who is in a good mood considering he's 40, Ruffy. I mean, that's exceptional. He's looking great for 40, isn't he?
Absolutely superb. It feels a million miles away from being 40, but certainly he's looking top notch.
Yep, absolutely. Do you feel 40?
No, I feel okay.
Yeah.
I'm not bad. Keep myself fit and taking over. But it's a big birthday, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
But they say life begins at 40.
Well, let's hope so for yourself, because obviously, you know, you can reflect on so many things. Ruffy's favourite movies, Godfather 2. From my own point of view, I like The Way We Were, and yours is Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. So we'll discuss that a little later on, and all will become clearer. So Barry's 40. Great to have the birthday boy with us to talk football. And of course, here's a look at the back page headlines, which, as you would expect, some transfer news in there, but the show of strength, a picture of Moussa Dembele's Celtic get a bit of revenge on Hearts by 3-1 last night. We'll talk about that game shortly and bring you the goals. The Hampden goer, this is now a straight shootout after yesterday's meeting at Hampden Park. It's going to be a national stadium in Glasgow or Edinburgh. It's a straight shootout between Hampden and Murrayfield, and there's Morella's bid apparently up to £7.5 million now, according to the Daily Record. Double deal, Celtic preparing for a deal with Jack Henry and Scott Bain, but that's taken a few twists, believe me, as this day has progressed. And there's Kieran Tierney cuddling Moussa Dembele after their win last night over Hearts. And the Press and Journal and Scrap D-Day matches. This is Derek McInnes there talking about transfer deadline day, and he doesn't want football on the final day of the transfer window. So just a few of the talking points on tonight's programme, lots to discuss. I think the first thing we've got to get our teeth into, Ruffy, is the straight shootout now between Hampden and Murrayfield. For me, it's just a no-brainer. It's Hampden, all hands down.
Yeah, you're right. I agree with you 100%. I've been to Murrayfield. It is a lovely stadium, but for the criticism that Hampden gets, I think Murrayfield is the same. I think it's even bigger. You know, it's too far away from the crowd, the park. And I think if you look at Hampden, as more and more people begin to get involved, the council's now getting involved. That means there might be some fundraising somewhere. I just think we need to rejig the stadium. I think we need to bring it in, you know, and make it more of an atmosphere for the supporters.
Yeah, well, on the 150th anniversary of Queen's Park, the great and the good were all assembled for it, Barry, and I've been bleating on about it for months. Quite simply, we've got some very talented engineers, people who can come up with ideas on Hampden Park. You can either drop the stadium or drop the pitch, or raise it, get away with the track and put the seats closer into it. There's all sorts of things you can do to make sure that you suddenly bring the fans closer to the pitch and make it an atmosphere to die for. Outside, as far as access to Hampden, it's not any better getting to Murrayfield.
Yeah, no, I agree with Ruffy. If it's down to they two, it's got to be Hampden. My only issue, and I've said before in the programme, it's the atmosphere. It's behind the goals. It's far too far away from me. The supporters, you can't get in touch with the supporters. So, as you says, this day and age, there's engineers who can bring the stand in a bit. That's the only thing that Hampden lacks. For me, it's a good stadium. There's no doubt about it. But as I'm saying, I've played many a times. The only thing that lets it down is behind the goals, with the fans not getting on top of the players.
Yeah, I also think, Ruffy, it was the right decision to not take it round some of the grounds. I mean, there are smaller games that, by all means, maybe on the odd occasion, take it to, Aberdeen, take it to Tynecastle or wherever. But I think the major games should be at the National Stadium. I mean, you look at Murrayfield. I mean, we've been there when there's been huge crowds going to Murrayfield. Again, it's in the middle of a housed area. There's not any greater access, and they're certainly not getting away from it any quicker than there is at Hampden Park. And I've been there for Champions League football as well. When Celtic were playing there, the atmosphere was not great.
No, you're right. I think we can get away from it as the history of football as at Hampden. I think it's not all about the big teams. I think if you ask Inverness, Cali, Ross County, teams that don't get to Hampden very often, it's a special occasion. It is a special stadium. Even just driving up to it, it's a great feeling. Barry's already touched on it. He's been there at international games and cup finals as well. It's got something about it. When you walk down these stairs and you walk out onto the park, it's got a history there that everybody remembers. So I just think we need to tweak it here and there.
Yeah, the other thing which I think we are not privy to some of the financial details which are going on in the background, Barry, but what I would say is this: if there is something which has annoyed the SFA or indeed the clubs with regards to the unusual funding of Queen's Park and how they are residents and the history of Queen's Park means they own Hampden Park. If there's something in the background, I still think it would be a scandal to give the money to Scottish rugby rather than maintain the status quo with Scottish football at Hampden Park.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I'm sure Queen's Park and the SFA really need to sit down and over the table and thrash this out. As Ruffy said, it is a home of football. International games have been there since, 100 odd years. So they've got to come up with some sort of idea, maybe shake it up a wee bit, as we said, bring the stands in behind the goals. But I'm sure they can settle on something, because I would like to see it stay at Hampden if it's my choice. And if you ask any players, they do enjoy playing at Hampden. As Ruffy made a great point, the smaller clubs, when they get a chance to go there in a semi-final or a final, they look forward to it. And I've been lucky enough to play it many times, and I'd still the same feeling driving up in the bus, looking forward to it. The fans all round about it, and you drive underneath the stadium. And then when you walk out in that park, some of the atmospheres I did playing was unbelievable, and some weren't so good, and that's where we need to maybe change the stands behind the goal.
Yeah, okay. Before we get to the goals which we're about to bring you from Celtic against Hearts, let's look back at some of the results in the Cup, because there was a fourth round replay last night up at the Tulloch Stadium. In the end, Scott Allen, again a player of immense talent, Ruffy, scored the goal, had a really good game and edged Dundee through.
Yeah, he's a player we all keep thinking, when's he going to reach, the form that we all know he can. I think if you think back to even the weekend there against Hamilton, there was glimpses there of him getting back to the form that he has, and I really think he just needs a run. It seems to be confidence might be a big thing with him, but certainly he's got bags of ability.
Yeah, the other thing I was going to say to you as well, Barry, is he's a gifted midfielder. His first team starts is not impressive.
No.
When he gets into a team, you can see he's got the talent. He can pick a pass and he can break down defences. Today is incredible because there was a permutation where he could be leaving Dundee to go to Hibs to allow Celtic to maybe get Scott Bain, who's on loan at Hibs but hasn't actually been in goal yet. Are you following this?
Yep.
Simon Murray actually could end up going from Hibs to Dundee as part of the make weight in the deal. The whole thing just started to be so complex it defies belief. But I think he's, I think he's, if he can get regular football, he's worthy of a bigger club.
I'm a big fan of Scott Allen. I just think he needs the right manager and the right team. I thought when he went up to Dundee, he's had a few injury problems since he's went up there. I'm sure it would have, if he didn't have any injuries, he'd have played every single game. I think Neil McCann would have built the team round about him, but certainly he's not fulfilled his potential. It never worked out at Celtic. He needs to now find a club that suits him and start playing regular football, because certainly I think if he plays a couple of seasons, he can be champing on the international door as well. That's how good I think he can be. But it's just a matter of him getting a number of games under his belt, because he's not done that.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. As far as the other Scottish Cup fourth round tie for Martin 0, Cove at Rangers 2. It's always nice still to see as you get to the latter stages a bit of romance, one of the lesser known clubs, Ruffy.
Well, certainly Cove Rangers are a very well organised Highland League team. You know, they've been, you know, at the forefront of everything that the Highland League clubs have done up there. They're very well organised, they've got their own stadium, fantastic setup. And they'll be hoping that obviously they can go a wee bit further, but I think they'll be a difficult team to beat. Yeah,
and just one other little footnote, Ruffy. Peterhead edged out Berwick Rangers last night in the league. It's now a straight shootout between Peterhead and Montrose. It's getting exciting in that division, I think.
Yeah, it certainly is, you know, but you know, we know Jim McAnally wasn't happy with what happened last year. You know, I think the players down tools, but certainly rejigged it this year, brought in a few new players, and obviously Rory McAllister started scoring again.
Okay, thanks to Ruffy and Barry. They'll be back with us after the break. We'll bring you the goals from Celtic against Hearts. We'll also look at some of the other matches, which are probably in the next couple of minutes about to kick off. We'll look at them, and we'll discuss some of the movers and shakers in the transfer window as well. What about last night at Celtic Park? Well, in the end, a wee bit of revenge, Ruffy, for Celtic against Hearts. They'd blown them away after 45 minutes.
Yes, it was Dembele held the ball up well there, played it through. Hearts played quite a high line, but it's a tremendous finish. Obviously the goalkeeper coming out thinks he's going to maybe play it in the corner, but he doesn't. He takes the hard option by putting it in the roof of the net. Goalkeeper's looking for it. It never happened, and it was a good start. I don't know what Boyata's doing up there for a start, but like a striker, no, he's good right foot on him. Didn't waste much time to put it in, but again it was Dembele who laid it off, a good weighted pass into his path. But this is Tierney all over. You know that the amount of times he gets to the byline, puts good balls into the box, but he knew Dembele was there, and like all good strikers, he just adjusted his body and put it in the back of the net. But this time Celtic were absolutely in free fall. I think everybody in the Hearts team thought that the second half was going to continue, but it never. He would see the new signing coming on. He had a couple of wee touches here and there. He had a good wee back heel to bring Tierney in. Here's Tierney causing all sorts of problems as well. But he picks the ball up here, and you can see the ability he's got. He's got the confidence to back heel this right into the path. And again, it's nearly a goal-scoring opportunity, but Eduardo just doesn't take it, and could have been more than three. I think Hearts were very fortunate. This is a bit slack from Celtic at the back, but they like making passes out from the back, but they get caught. It's a good finish from Lafferty. You know, takes his time, places it into the corner, and obviously Hearts thought there might have been a chance if they got a second goal, but the chances just kept coming for Celtic, one after the other, and they ran out quite easily winners.
Yeah, I was disappointed with Hearts, Barry, in the first half because I thought they would offer a lot more. They tried a similar style to what they were doing at Tynecastle.
Yeah, but I think it's different at Tynecastle than it is to Celtic Park. A bigger pitch, bigger stadium, and it's a bit of revenge for Celtic. I thought the last game Hearts were superb. Let's not kid ourselves on. But I always felt last night that Celtic would win. You're expecting Hearts to come and make a game of it, but by all accounts it could have been 6 or 7 for Celtic. So overall Celtic deserved it.
Let's have a listen to Brendan Rodgers. This is what he made of the game.
Yeah, that was a very good performance, both halves. Took our chances first half, didn't second half, but overall it was outstanding team performance. Yeah, I think firstly the intensity in our game was there. You know, we had to. I felt that probably the game at Tynecastle, you know, you got to match the aggression of Hearts. You know, Craig's got them very well organised, and they get good pace and counter attack, and obviously got to deal with that physical side. So I thought we dealt with that very well. You know, pressed the game well, got around the second balls, and then were able to play forward from there. So yeah, created chances, and I said that's only disappointment from the evening. not to have scored more goals.
They've been a wee bit flat of late, but I thought they were getting back to maybe some of the form of last season with their movement last night, Ruffy. And Charlie Masonda coming on, he's known for his flicks and his stepovers. His hero's Ronaldo. If he can produce even a fraction of that, I think he'll endear himself to the Celtic fans over 18 months.
Yeah, and I think we'll all have to wait and see, you know, where he is going to fit into this team. You know, obviously, if you're coming for Chelsea, you'd be expecting to play 90 minutes. You know, so it'll be interesting to see where they fit him in that team. Again, that was McGregor and Sinclair left out last night, so it just shows the abundance of players that they've got. But they certainly need somebody to inject something, you know. And it was there. If you're going to lose a goal to Celtic or Rangers in the first 5 minutes of a game, it's going to be a long, long night, and it proved to be that 45 minutes.
Yep, no surprise. Disappointed Hearts manager Craig Levein.
Yeah, we're disappointed to lose the match. We had a game plan to go after them and press them like we did at Tynecastle, and we lost the goal within 5 minutes or something. So what pleased me, of course, was that we stuck at it. You know, Celtic had opportunities in the first half, but they were because of the way we played. We put a lot of players high and went man for man at times, so they were going to break on us. You're hopeful that they don't score, and they seemed to score with just about every chance in that first half. So half time was interesting because the question was whether we damaged limitation or we tried to keep doing the same thing. And we had a go in the second half again as well. And I felt, you know, I've been here myself as a player, been 3-0 down and left here 6 or, you know, 5 or 6 at times. What was good for me was we did well in the second half. We got a goal. We didn't lose any more goals. And it gives me some heart that we can come back and do a similar thing next time we're here.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how many players he's able to add before this window closes tonight, Ruffy, Craig Levein. There's talk of him looking for what I call his traditional tall striker, you know, man that can lead the line. I'm not so sure. I mean, Kyle Lafferty, I think he spent more time in the first half arguing with people. Second half, you know, when he gets a chance, he can score a goal.
Yeah, I think so, but I agree. I think that he may need somebody up front with him. Need somebody maybe to take the pressure off him, because we all know he's got the ability to score goals, but for me he just falls in and out of games, and so maybe it's just the fact that somebody just to take the pressure off him so they're not relying on him all the time to score.
Yep, there's no doubt about Celtic's desire to get a few players in, maybe 2. They've had a bid for Jack Henry, knocked back. They've had a bid for Trevor Carson, knocked back. A second bid, knocked back. They're ducking and diving. This will go right down to the wire as far as Celtic's transfer activity is concerned, and as you would imagine from a Celtic manager, keeping his cards close to his chest.
No, I'll need to speak to Peter afterwards. There's nothing changed from before the game. We want to bring in another goalkeeper. There's been lots of names fired at us. Agents obviously doing lots of work, speculating and putting their names to the club, of course. But yeah, we'll have one in by end of play tomorrow. Well, there's lots of names. You know, could sit here all day and go through the names that have been fired at us. So he's one of many that have been mentioned. But we'll get a goalkeeper in here that fits our idea of how we play. You know, that's important. You know, whoever comes in has to be able to cope with the way we play. You know, so we need a goalkeeper that can be able to play with his feet, build the game. And obviously, importantly, make saves.
You can give us your view on your favourite team and how you think they've done in the transfer window at Peter and Ruffy on Twitter, facebook.com/Peter and Ruffy as well. From that game, Celtic against Hearts last night, a couple of games that are underway now. Hibs, Motherwell, Ross County, Aberdeen. Hibs. This is a strange situation, Ruffy. One striker in, which is good for the Hibs fans. Florian Camberry is a Swiss player from Grasshoppers Zurich on loan till the end of the season. And Anthony Stokes on the way out. Just a waste of a great talent.
Yeah, but unfortunately Neil Lennon come to the decision enough is enough. You know, there's no point in having a player with that amount of ability about the dressing room. There's other players in that dressing room. You've got to think of them first. If he's strolling about, you know, and not being part of the team, then he's better being out the door, so that the rest of the players can just get their head round what they're trying to achieve. You're right, he's got bags of ability. It's an absolute waste. Some of the goals that we saw him scoring even in his first time at Hibs were absolutely fantastic. But as I said, there's no point in having somebody about the place like that.
He's still only 29, Barry. I mean, somebody will snap him up.
Yeah, it frustrates me. Every time I watch him, I like him. He's a great first touch, and the hardest thing to do in football is score goals, and he can certainly score goals. I don't know what's went on behind the scenes. Obviously, Neil Lennon's not taking anything to do with him again. He has tried. He's had him a number of times at Celtic and obviously at Hibs now. But it disappoints me when I see a guy like that, because he's got so much ability. And the Hibs fans will be disappointed as well, because he's a bit of a hero up there.
Yeah, you just wonder if maybe another Scottish club or might want to get out of the country completely, Ruff, and go Championship or lower.
I think the unfortunate thing is obviously the next club will ask questions about what happened to Hibs, you know.
Yeah.
And if the same thing continues to happen, then the manager's taking a big gamble and taking them in, because you don't want to be on the end of being let down again, I think.
With all due respect, Ruffy, I don't know a club across any country in the world who suddenly has a moral high ground when it comes to players. I mean, they'll bring in anybody if they think it'll save them in a window.
That's always, somebody obviously will take a gamble on him. I mean, you say he's 29, he's still got a lot to offer, but I think his head's got to be in the right place.
I think he's worth a gamble, certainly.
Yeah,
the ability he's got. I mean, I think teams like maybe St Johnstone will be looking at that, but it's up to him whether he wants to get away out of the country and go back down to England or maybe even try abroad. But he's definitely worth a gamble.
Yeah, absolutely. It could be the difference between keeping you in a division or indeed dropping out of it. Who knows? We'll wait to see what develops for Anthony Stokes, but certainly get something to offer some club, whether it's north, south of the border or even elsewhere. Okay, after the break we'll talk about an Aki's player who's now joined Motherwell. We'll discuss some more transfers with Barry and Alan. Yeah, John Hartson, the answer, and he's going to be our special guest on Friday on the show on STV, Ruffy.
Super. A lot of good memories, obviously European times playing with Larson and Sutton. And obviously the disappointment of not making the final. I remember being in the stadium that night and where the players were training the night before, he just sat in a corner with his head down, so it'll be interesting to find out obviously his feelings on that night. Yeah, absolutely, and one of the goals that sticks in my head, Barry, he was a Liverpool fan as a boy. His dad was in the Liverpool, the Celtic end in the match against Liverpool at Anfield when he hit that raker from about 20 yards into the roof of the net, which is always special when you come up with goals like that. Yeah, certainly at Anfield. I remember watching that game, but going back to, as a guy, always get time for you. Good guy, obviously he's went through a few difficult times with his cancer and whatever, and it's great to see him come through that, but fantastic player. Used to hate playing against him. Playing against him. Mary was telling me he jumped out the seat that night when he hit the back of the net. Raging. Oh no, they've scored. Anyway, it was a special goal for him. John is our guest. I'm trying to be nice here. Yeah, I know exactly. I know you were trying to be nice. Just revert back to time. Okay, let's look at Motherwell because they're signing an old Aki's player. This is, I think, Barry, a good signing. Stephen Hendry was at West Ham. Hasn't been able to break in there, but suddenly he's wearing the claret number. Yeah, when I've got time, I always went down to watch Aki's, and he was a young boy coming through. Played over 100 games for Aki's, so he's got a bit of experience, and obviously West Ham went and paid a bit of money for him. It never worked out, but he went out on loan at Southend and played a number of games. So
I think the Hamilton Accies fans are a bit disappointed that he's going across the motorway to Motherwell, but a good signing for Motherwell. He's a good player.
Yeah, absolutely. He's one of those players. I mean, I don't know how long they'd be able to get him if they were looking to secure him on a full-time deal, Ruffy. But at left back, I always automatically think Motherwell left back, Stephen Hamill. If you're of an older generation, you always think Motherwell left back, Joe Wark.
Yeah, Stevie Hamill's been there for a long time. Still, playing, although he wants to go into the youth setup. But that's a good signing for me. I remember him at Hull, up and down the park, great engine, sort of a Kieran Tierney mould. Always getting into dangerous positions, putting quality balls in. Got a fantastic move, but I can't understand why it wouldn't have worked out for him.
Yeah, we'll discuss and we'll bring you the goals on Motherwell Hibs against Motherwell at Easter Road on tomorrow night's programme. Certainly one to watch at 7:30. The other match is Ross County against Aberdeen, and Aberdeen have been on a bit of form. Certainly they've got a contender for goal of the season. I'd be gobsmacked if anybody is able to beat Scott McKenna's strike at the weekend, but they're in action tonight. But I think the great news coming out of Pittodrie was the vote from the Aberdeen City Council backing the stadium, Ruffy. Great news.
It's fantastic news, and I think everybody needs to realise this is not just about the football club. This is about the whole Aberdeen community. I mean, Derek was talking about, the under 8s, the under 9s, the under 10s. They're the ones that are going to get the benefit of these facilities as well. Obviously, everybody loves a new stadium. Everybody loves a great training ground to go to, and that's what the players can look forward to.
Yeah, Derek McInnes, as you can imagine, well happy with the decision.
It was brilliant news, a real crackle of excitement went through the whole club yesterday when the news came through. A fantastic reward for everybody's efforts, and particularly the chairman who's driven this, the whole team behind, the legal team, all the panel experts that have helped deliver the argument and give all the reasons. The supporters want to see a club run properly. They want to see the club be the best we can be, and and I think that until we got up-to-date modern facilities and until we got the new stadium, that was always for me going to be so difficult to achieve.
I was watching the live blog coming in from the City Council meeting with great interest yesterday, Barry, and a number of great points from a number of councillors. What message would it have sent out to big business if you can't even look towards your own hometown football club progressing and getting these fabulous training facilities? I mean, there were a few objections. You can understand some people with concerns over the green belt area and other issues over traffic, but the wider implications, the opportunities for the whole city.
I think it will be able to, obviously, as you said, it will attract big sponsors in, but I think the reason why Derek's probably most happy is it will attract bigger players. When you've got your own training facilities at Aberdeen, he's travelling all over the place trying to get a training facility. So if he's got their own training facility, it will attract better players. And the stadium, seeing the pictures there, it looks a fantastic facility. And I think that's one of the reasons where Derek's got a certain bracket that he can go and look at players. But if Aberdeen are producing a stadium and a training facility like we've just seen, he'll attract a better player.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, it's 2 or 3 years away, Ruffy. I mean, phase 1, as we had discussed with Stuart Milne, phase 1, £10 million in place, training facilities. Phase 2, phase 3, eventually the whole thing complete and a stadium to be proud of.
Yeah, I think they've got the right man in charge. When we interviewed him up at his house, he said all the right things. He's obviously got the financial clout and the contacts as well. They've already brought in a couple of Aberdeen supporters from abroad who put in £1 million each. So there is a lot of companies up there that want to be involved. And if Aberdeen continue where they are, second or third in the league, challenging Celtic, I think that stadium could be full, because I think everybody will get right behind it.
Yeah, absolutely. The only downside for us, Ruffy, is we couldn't get the Chesterfields out the front door of the house when we were there and into the back of the car. Stuart Milne very, very positive about Aberdeen in the future now that they've got that vote, so full marks to them. What about your club, Rangers? Obviously Fraserburgh in the Cup, we expect them to go through. transfer targets coming and going. We've been taking a fair bit of flack from yesterday's programme with regards to Alfredo Morelos and whether the deal goes through or not. I think some people have lost track of what we were actually saying about Alfredo Morelos, which is quite simply, if there's a bid of around £7 or £8 million, it would be gross negligence for the Rangers board not to accept that sort of deal.
Well, I think I'm going to get a bit of flack for what I'm going to say. If it's the reported money or the transfer fee that's coming in £6 or £7 million, I think Rangers have got to snap their hands off the Chinese team that are coming in to try and sign him. The bottom for £1 million, he's done well, but I look at it, we brought Jason Cummins in. I think in time he will be a very good Rangers player. And Rangers, if somebody's coming in and offering them £6 or £7 million, they'll take it. So that tells me it's not that level. I don't know what sort of level it is. Even if they come in with £2.5–3 million, I think they've got to look at it seriously and take the money. Because I think the signings that I've made over the transfer window, I've been really impressed. As I says, Jason Cummins, Russell Martin, Murphy. So if it is that sort of money, I've got to take it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I understand where Graham Murty's coming from. Listen, if this is a ruse or a story, it won't be the first time there's a story coming from a club saying, you know, 7 or 8 million for this type of player. Because quite simply, sometimes it flushes out other clubs to get interested and get into the market on it. That's the nature of it. You've got to read between the lines on it. You know, Rangers as a club. Graham Murty yesterday saying, well, you know, just because it's got a few zeros on it, we won't be rushed in. It'll leave us short at the back. I mean, it's £7 million. You're not telling me Graham Murty and Mark Allen can't sit down on a list and within 24 hours nail 2 really good Scottish players or somebody from down south on loan.
If it's £7 million, I'll tell you, Dave King will be snapping the hands off if that's coming in. It will nothing to do with the manager or the director of football. If it's that sort of money, Rangers have got to take it. They're a selling club now. If somebody comes in with that sort of money, Rangers can't knock that back. Yeah,
and the other thing about it, Ruffy, no harm to the lad, he's one of the top scorers in the division. I've watched him regularly. I was watching the game. I was at the game, Rangers against Aberdeen. He had 2 absolute sitters, some 6 yards out. Not a unique situation with him. I think he's got a way to go. You know, if Rangers were at a point you could say, okay, another year from now he'll get better and better and he'll score goals. You know, he scored one on the night, but he could have had a hat-trick, and he's had chances like that before. I just think he's got a bit to go before I could see a £7 million player. That was my point, and I still think if that is on the table, take it. They're already looking at potentially Ollie McBurney to bring him in. They're trying desperately to look at other possible replacements. If a Chinese club says £7 million, you go, thank you very much, and well done, the Rangers man who managed to get the money.
Yeah. Another thing you've got to look at in a couple of years' time, will it be more than £7 million? I don't think he's not shown anything to me that he's going to be a £10 million player. So.
Nobody could do, but Rangers could then turn around and say, Ruffy, here's the add-ons. You know, if he was, I don't believe he's. Just a personal opinion, I don't think he's worth £7 million. But if somebody pays it, Rangers could get add-ons.
I think when you play with Rangers and Celtic, if you're a striker, particularly at home, you're going to expect to get chances. You know, the team at home are going to create chances. It's a percentage that you stick away, you know, and I would think any decent striker in a Rangers jersey would score as many goals as he's scoring with the chances that they get, you know. So I think Jason Cummins can easily fill that bill. To say if we sell Morales, we won't close the gap on Celtic. I think the bigger picture here is, as Barry said, I think the players that Rangers have brought in are good enough, if they are, to close the gap on Celtic. It won't just be because Morales.
What I'm saying is, I think he's a good player. I think he has got potential to be a very good Rangers player. There's no doubt about that. But I don't think he's a natural goal scorer. I think Jason Cummins, on the other hand, if he gets these sort of chances, he will become a 20-25 goal a season striker.
Yeah, okay. You can give us your view at Peter and Ruffy on Twitter and Facebook.com/Peter and Ruffy. Lots to talk about. We'll have a look at down south as well. Yeah, there you are, the answer to the question. Peter Lovenkrands, as you're well aware, we always have to abide by Barry's new contract, which is must mention games that he played in, scored or won in. Is that fair, Ruffy?
Yeah, but it's getting a bit much. It really is. It's nearly every week now.
It's not as bad as the World Cup.
It's not as bad as the 3 World Cups, you're right. Over and above that, it is his birthday. We've got to stick in, something special. Special free kick, but Lovenkrands, perfect time to score a goal. No time to get back in the game.
It was crazy. I mean, it was a great run for Neil McCanny, whipped in a great ball, and Peter Lovenkrands has obviously scored. Celtic have took kick-off and the whistles went, so there's no better way to win a final and beat your biggest rivals.
Yeah. Did you like Peter as a player?
Peter Lovenkrands, I preferred him through the middle.
Yeah.
He came as a wide player, but I enjoyed playing with him. I just used to say to him, don't come and take the ball into feet, just spin, because he was obviously blessed with electric pace, and you just used to feed him in behind, and he would go on it. He scored some real important goals for Rangers.
Yeah. How many goals did you score for Rangers?
I know you're asking 69.
Yeah.
Round about that.
Yeah. What was your favourite of all time, apart from the cup final goal? Apart from that one, was there another one that sticks in your mind?
My first Rangers goal, what always sticks in my mind, it was against Dunfermline. My brother was playing with Dunfermline at that time, so it was the first time I ever played against them, and I scored in that game. So it was a hard one for my mum and dad and the family, obviously. They couldn't watch it, couldn't go to it, because they just couldn't handle both us playing against each other. But it was a good way, with a couple of tackles as well in that game, and you score. It was great, and especially playing against my brother, who I looked up to.
Yeah, I mean, they told you that they couldn't watch it. They were in the Dunfermline end with scarves on.
Yeah, probably.
Come on, Derek.
Probably, he's always been a favourite.
You're a special favourite. Anyway, let's crack on. I tell you, I want to get your thoughts on video assistant referees. Just basically because now it seems as if it's gathering pace across Europe. Last night, Kylian Mbappe was sent off at Paris Saint-Germain. Of course, the video assistant referee looks at the tackle and thinks, oof, that's a dangerous one, you got to go. Various goals are being disallowed now because the referee is looking at it. In some cases, they're looking at it quite a lot, which I think is infuriating people.
That's a worry. I watched the game Liverpool-West Brom at the weekend, and there was a couple of instances where they timed it and it was going on to 3 or 4 minutes. And that's the only worry. I mean, I'm all for bad tackles and obviously penalty kicks and whatever, as long as it takes 30 seconds, a minute tops. But that Liverpool-West Brom, there was a couple of instances where it went 3 and 4 minutes, where the game, it kills the game, it kills the pace of the game.
Yeah.
That's my only worry about this thing.
I think they could do it quicker once they get used to it, Ruffy. I think generally now people are digging their heels in initially, but I think in the top flight football, I'd rather get it right than have people moaning about getting it wrong in the pub and moaning about missing out on a medal because somebody's cheated.
Yeah. It's like any new thing that gets brought in. You have to tweak it here and there. Yeah, it might take time to get it 100%, but I think we've all watched it in all the other sports that are coming in, the cricket, the rugby. There are decisions there where you go, well, maybe that's not right, but I think you're right in what you're saying. If we can get the cup finals, big games, big decisions, things that, take a medal away for you, things like that, qualifying for competitions, but I think they'll get it right eventually, and I think the main thing about the whole thing is getting the big results correct.
Yeah. Now, you can give us your thoughts on how your team's fared in the transfer window. On tomorrow night's programme, we'll be reading out a few of your comments on your team at Peter and Ruffy on Twitter, facebook.com/Peter and Ruffy. I just wonder, the transfer system, are you a fan of the January transfer system? And linked into that, we're getting a situation now where so many players are going on loan from big clubs.
Listen, I prefer the old way, if I'm being honest with you. The thing that I don't get is there's some teams that are playing tonight, and maybe they're trying to get deals done. The manager's obviously tied up with the game. That's what I don't like. I don't think there should be games played on deadline day.
Yeah.
But that's the way it works out. I'm a fan of the January transfer window. No, because if a club needs a player, you're not going to get a player. For me, a club's not going to let a player go if he's a regular. It's going to be somebody that's out of the team, maybe not up to match fitness, and then when he goes to his new club, it's going to take him 4, 5, 6 games to get up to pace with it.
Yeah.
So,
or maybe you have to pay over the odds when you're trying to get something.
yeah, if you're desperate and your injuries, you might need to pay an extra couple of pounds for a player, which you don't want to do. So I'm not a great fan of the January transfer window, if I'm being honest.
Ruffy?
I'm just get a bit frustrated with the amount of loan players that come up, and I'm just thinking about young players who've maybe broken into the first team and had a wee run, and then all of a sudden 2 or 3 players come up. I'll cite Callum McGregor for a start. You know, this new boy coming in, if he's reasonable enough, it looks as if Callum might be one of the people that suffer for not playing. You look at McCrory, you look at Bates at Rangers, you know, they've had fantastic runs, you know, and more players are coming. There's Alves staying now, and I feel sorry for the youngins who think they're going to come into the first team and get a wee run. You know, obviously managers have got to do the best for their teams, but sometimes I think, I've said it before, I think it should be capped at maybe 3 loan players in any one window.
But what I will say, like you're talking about Callum McGregor and the boy coming up for Chelsea, I mean it's a good test for Callum McGregor now to try and cement his place in the team. He's a player that I like, a player that I think's come on leaps and bounds in the last season or two.
In a strange sort of way, I don't think the worry will be more Callum McGregor. I think the way the boy played last night, the more the worry will be James Forrest having to keep the high standards in the big games, because he looks as if he's an out-and-out winger.
Yeah, for me, James Forrest is a cert starter for Celtic. He's been the best player in Scotland for me this season, James Forrest. So I don't think it'll affect him. But again, these sort of guys come in, they just need to work even harder on the training ground and make sure they cement their place in the team on a Saturday.
Yeah, well, if we're talking about some of the movers and shakers in Scotland, down south, the money that's being spent now, the English Premier League clubs have spent somewhere in the region of 325 million and rising every minute of this programme. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang signed for Arsenal, and off the back of that, the other shock, Ruffy, after the longest transfer saga with Alexis Sanchez, so many people were talking about Mesut Ozil leaving as well, and suddenly he signed a deal till 2021, so he's staying at Arsenal.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know what goes on behind the scenes now. I mean, signing a player or getting a player to sign a new contract, there must be so many clauses, you know, in that contract, and particularly knowing Barry played, but when I played, you either signed a 3-year and a 3-year option, and that was it. You know, there was no other anything in the contract, but now we hear what players are getting actually loyalty payments for being there for 3 years. You know, things, I mean, it's absolutely crazy. Players who are refusing to leave unless they get a loyalty payment. I mean, it's just crazy now. But good luck to the players, because when I played, we never got anything, you know, so I hope they get as much out of the game as possible.
I mean, Barry won't be aware of this, Ruffy, but if you were playing nowadays, you'd be a millionaire. I mean, I don't think you'd even be speaking to us too. You were that good.
Well, I don't know about Barry, but I speak to you.
Arsenal, listen, they signed 2 players. I mean, the pressure's on Arsene Wenger. They might have signed 2 players. They lost to Swansea. I don't even think they're going to finish top 4.
I know, but with Ozil signing and the new signing Aubameyang from Borussia Dortmund, I'm starting to think I thought Man United get the better deal, but with these new players coming in, I think Arsenal will have the better deal.
Yeah.
But again, last night they got to Swansea and Swansea beat them 3-1, so he's under pressure because he's now went out and spent a bit of money. So they'll need to start getting results quickly.
Yeah, I'm not buying it. I think they'll be outside the top 4 there. Yeah, Ruffy, what about yourself?
Well, if he's outside the top 4, the supporters again, I'll be saying, look, you've been here long enough. You've not got us to the Champions League. And that'll be the big one, because that's what the supporters down in England now are focused on when they buy their season tickets. They want to be in Europe. Europe is where, you know, the big boys play.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if Manchester City can get Riyad Mahrez over the line and sign him. They really are unstoppable at the moment. You know, Mahrez just adds to everybody else's misery.
Yeah, it certainly does. And as I said, a couple of years ago, he had a fantastic season when Leicester won the league, and he has got a tremendous ability. But that's what they're doing. They're just buying up the best players. I'm really impressed with the centre half they've signed. I think that's a problem for them. Obviously, with Company being out injured quite a lot, this boy looks the part.
Yeah, absolutely. As far as signing top drawer players and keeping some of your major stars at your club, I don't think too many people will be bidding for Gerard Piqué from Barcelona. He's got a 440 million euro buyout clause. He's now signed until 2022 for Barcelona. He's been an absolute sensation for them, and of course, you know, he's got a beautiful partner in Shakira. You know, doesn't it make you sick, wouldn't it? It's all going right for him.
He's doing no too bad. Again, he was at Man United as a young boy, and Sir Alex Ferguson let him go, but he's been unbelievable for Barcelona. But the money, the buyout clauses now they have, and the contracts are crazy.
Yeah, Shakira is a pop star, Ruffy.
It's not the Swiss winger, no.
No, it's not. That's not him. No, that's Shakiri. Anyway, happy birthday, Barry. I mean, I do hope you have a great party. We must post. You know, so many of your friends were in here to watch the show. We must post a picture of it, of your 40th birthday celebrations. Who would have thought Barry Ferguson 40, wearing well. Hopefully you've enjoyed the show. Hugh McDonald of the Daily Mail will join us on tomorrow night's programme. We'll reflect on all the last minute transfer deals for all the clubs, including your favourite team as well. From Barry, Ruffy and myself, thanks for watching. Good night.